more than about $50 until I moved down to Albemarle Square, and then they became $200. And I had a house in Roland Park with kids, cats, dogs, you know, all sorts of things. And then I moved into a row house, and it was $200. So I didn't understand that, but I just kind of took it for a while. And then I started talking to my neighbors, and some of those people had bills of $800. So, you know, I felt lucky, but then there was clearly something wrong. And as we investigated it, Councilman Young has been wonderful about this, but there are a couple of questions that, he's really helped us, but there are a couple of questions that we have as a community association in Albemarle Square. And one is, because we were, all our houses were built by a developer, when the city negotiates with developers about the infrastructure, the sewers and the pipes and all the construction of the houses, what kind of consideration is made for the water bills and the sewage bills, and what kind of costs are passed on to the homeowners? Because we believe that some of those costs were passed on to us that were unfair. And then the other thing is,
so you and your neighbors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, or that deals were negotiated between the builder and the city, or whoever negotiates for the city, without really considering the impact on homeowners of their water bills. And then the second issue is, with the change in the law requiring that you have to have sprinkler systems in new construction, we were told that we had to have bigger pipes, but those pipes are only used if there's a fire. So it doesn't seem fair for us to have to pay a rate based on commercial pipe size if we're only using, I live one person in a house, there's only one person in a house. So I would like it if you could check into those two things. How
do you have the address on Albemarle?
111 South Exeter
Okay,
Street.
that's why I know the DPW folks will be.
Right.
They did fix that problem, Councilman.
They fixed that one problem that you were talking about, where they was charging. They fixed the problem that you was talking about, where they was charging you to use the bigger pipe. We had a meeting, and Mr. Winfield and Jay Sakai at that time.
Okay,
came
so
to the
that's all
meeting.
fixed?
So that's resolved. Yes.
And is that true for future people who buy
Yes,
houses that are
yes,
new construction?
yes.
So it's
I
not
see
just,
the heads
okay.
are nodding from our.
Okay, I just want to make sure
That was
that
fixed.
Okay.
it takes care of everybody and not just us.
Yeah.
Okay,
It takes care of everybody.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. James Tibbs, welcome to Duvern's Chambers.
Thank you.
Up there in the 3rd District.
Not too far from you.
I know, that 1500 block, it's right up the street from me. Speak right to the microphone so you can bend it down like this.
I didn't get a chance to do the research that this lady did. Thank you. It's incredible what she's done. And I will tell you that I agree with everything she said. I don't know what's wrong. I can tell you that I've been a resident of Baltimore for 58 years. I've lived in the same house for 23 years. I've had 2 daughters. Both have moved on. But I know what water usage is, because when they were there, we used a lot more water. So we've got an empty nest. My bills have doubled and tripled since my children left. So I don't know what's wrong, but I do know that something is wrong. I heard about this meeting.
What about your neighbors in the 1500 block?
My neighbor, I wasn't going to bring that up because I can only tell you what I'm going through, but my neighbor is a retired lady. Her water bill is killing her. That's one of the reasons I'm here this evening. I heard about this meeting late. I would have stopped and picked her up. She's having a very difficult time because her water bill is skyrocketing. She doesn't know why. I don't know why. I would have brought her here so she could have told you herself, Mrs. Adams. But I will definitely make known to her that this meeting did happen tonight, and she's been calling you. I know she's been calling and complaining. But even more than that, what I'd like to tell you is that I work in housing. I've been in banking for 30 years. I've been in housing for 20 years. I'm a government employee for the state. I witnessed what happened during the ground rent debacle in Baltimore City. And there's something that goes on that, that this lends itself to, and that is people, smart people, honest people, who can make a business of buying these water bills.
The liens, you mean?
Yes, absolutely. And my question to you, and I'd like for you to at least prepare for what is going to happen when people begin to lose their homes because of this problem. And that is going to happen. If you can learn anything from what happened with the ground rent situation, it should be that enterprising individuals will see this opportunity and take advantage of it. If it's not happening already, it will.
We were discussing, I want the councilman just to address that briefly, because he had an ordinance in, I believe.
Yeah, I had an ordinance in to take water liens
Off the
tax sale.
When is that going to happen?
I don't think it
It never went anywhere.
Never came out.
Well, again, I put forward to you that there's going to have to be something in place, or there should be, at least, because you know what happens when these aggressive individuals begin to use the system the way the system can be used, and people are not going to have anywhere to go. We do know there's a problem. I mean, I know there's a problem. I can't prove it. If what she hasn't said doesn't prove it, I don't know what else will. But something is wrong, and people will be, the system will allow abuses as a result of this. And if we don't do something, I could be someone who loses their home through.
How long you lived at Northgate?
24 years.
Okay. And, well, I never went anywhere. The council was reminding me I put a bill in to lower the interest that the folks that bid on these liens can get, and that was sort of put on hold too. But I know a personal situation. I think you remember, council, about the woman on Lockray Boulevard. It was for property taxes versus water. Lost her home that she had paid for after 30 years of mortgage. She had some issues, some senior issues. I'm not going to explain what it was, but she just didn't understand that she didn't pay her bill, and the person bid on the lien, followed all the procedures, 6 months, a year, foreclosed on it, told her she had to leave her home, and then she called me and said, "Counsel, I'm being asked to leave my home." Didn't understand why, and then I investigated. Said, "Well, you actually lost your home for a mere payment of $1,700 in taxes 2 years earlier. Someone bought the home, foreclosed on it, got the home, the day they foreclosed, sold it to somebody else for $80,000, and then they put it on the market and got $140,000. They all make a nice little nifty profit, preying on mostly seniors." And I know that the councilman, we have addressed that issue, Ms. Tessa Hill and others, and Mr. Stan Molesky concerning from Treasury Management have tried to stop that, working with the Commission on Aging and Retirement Education with the seniors. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's hard for us to stand by elected government and see somebody lose their house unwittingly. Just didn't know, because she had other issues, health issues, that she didn't realize that was going to happen. And for the water bills, it could happen too.
Well, I believe that some thoughts needs to be given to the outsourcing of the collection issue on all of these, on water bills and ground rents, because the way we're doing it now is detrimental to the public. People are suffering because
people are losing their homes.
People are. What they're doing is legal, according to the laws that
maybe
you all
not
have set up.
morally, but legal.
But it's immoral. Exactly. It's not a moral thing for the residents of the city, particularly the seniors and the people who aren't familiar with how the system works. And it would be also good if you could publish something. And I'm talking about something big in the paper that people will see on Sundays when they pick up the paper, and let them know what their rights are, and let them know that the situation is coming and that they need to pay attention to it. I was talking to my brother about this situation, and he didn't know he could lose his home over a water bill. And, he's a fairly educated gentleman. He just wasn't aware of that technicality. And I think people need to know about this, because information like this will go some distance in making them aware of it. I know my neighbor isn't aware of it. I'm going to have to tell her that, but people need to know that because of the way that the system outsources the collection of this debt, they can lose their home.
What's the address, before I ask for the next, what was the, you're at 1535, what was the neighbor's address?
Northgate.
I know, what was
Northgate.
your neighbor's address?
She's 1537. Her name is
And I see
Marie
the
Adams.
water and wastewater folks writing that down.
Right.
Mr. Tibbs, I got other public testimony. Thank you for coming down. You get a future, you get a problem with the city, please call me. Thank you. Clyde McCoy, 32nd Street. No, this is Councilwoman, Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark's district.
Yes, I was complaining about the water bill that I received. We called, nobody come out and reread the meter a second time. But I know for the last 12 years, I've been paying the minimum water bill for 2 houses, one on 33rd and one my daughter live on 32nd Street. There's no way in the world with nothing on that the water should went up $300 in 3 months. And it's come from my opinion, well, there's 3 things wrong. Whether you want to accept it or not. 1, they give you an estimate reading, they're not reading the meter, or you got a bad meter. But there's no way to come down. And 3 years ago, for a half a year, I was only paying $70.13.
A quarter.
No. For half a year, I was sick, and I missed the payment, and I paid $70.13 for 6 months. And I got the minimum bill right now. It's $58.14. I got the minimum for 33rd Street where I stay at. That's the minimum, because every bill come out, they got minimum, and all of a sudden you get one for $373. Somebody's not doing their job right. And they can take it to, because if they're not reading the meter's not right, or something's wrong. And here I'm a senior citizen trying to make ends meet, and I lost my benefit with Bethlehem Steel, and we got to come up with this $600-some water bill. If I don't pay it, there go my house.
I'm going to ask to take that address, 1801
East 32nd.
East 32nd, and the other
And
address was,
we requested.
what's the 33rd Street address?
I don't have no problem with 33rd Street.
Okay, just the
But
32nd
city,
Street.
every month they fixing somebody else's water busting out in the front, and sooner or later we all have a problem because the mud comes up in our water. After they don't even knock on the door to let you know they're going to change. They working somebody's water.
What they do sometimes when they have water main breaks, they shut the water off. I get that up in Northwood.
No. That's something they want to say, because they sit out there. And the water breaks and run for 3 or 4 days. They should let you know. And I'm not working no more, but I'll be sitting on the porch. I say, how come you don't let anybody know? Well, we don't have time.
That's not the statute that the position that the managers in DPW take. I'm sorry if you refer to that. But Mr. McCoy, 1801 East 32nd Street, you will get a response from DPW.
And when they're ready to read it, I'll be there. When they just let me know, I'll be there.
They will.
Watch and make sure they read it correct.
Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to come down, Mr. McCoy. Brenda West, 1500 block of Northwick. Also one of my constituents, I believe.
Yes.
What are you doing to the 3rd District
Yes.
recipients,
This is
Director
what
Winfield?
I'm sitting here observing, because it seems as if it's occurring in the 21218 zone.
Yes,
and
1500 block of Northgate and 1500 Northwick, they're not too far away.
Yes. So is it the person that's supposedly coming out reading these meters? I called today because I was so frustrated because I looked at my bill for this month was $305.47. I work 5 days a week. It's no one in my home. I have a son that's 3 years old, daycare. So what is the problem?